As you can see, I've bought myself a new gearbox for my Volvo. Apparently the one I have in the car now, the bearing for the output shaft is broken, so it makes this distinctive broken bearing sounds when driving, which well, since I don't know a lot of the technical things about cars, I weren't aware of that when I bought it until someone pointed it out for me. So this gearbox is identical to the one I own. The only difference is that this one comes from an older Volvo 240, and I own the 740, which is newer model. The 240 outlived the 740 series, but this gearbox is still older but identical. One of the main differences is that the fourth gear connection is different. This one have just a pin sticking out. I have a more modern socket here. Another difference is the output on the gearbox. This one is for a linkage connection, while I have a rubber connection and 3 holes. Another big difference is the mounting for the gear shifter. Well, I took off the one that's was on the gearbox. I have it laying over here. Here is the one for the Volvo 240. To make it fit on my car, I have to change it out with one for the 740, which is this type. I also have to change out the connection for the 4th gear switch, which isn't a big problem at all. I just take the one from the gearbox I already have. And here's another shifter arm for overdrive gearbox, which I got with it. And just to show you the differences between the connections on the output, they just used an angle grinder cut off from the old car. As you can see, here's the connection on the gearbox on this what's called in English, drive shaft, the propeller shaft between the rear axle and the gearbox. Propeller, yeah, something like that. While the 740 used a connection like that. Just take off the rubber here so you can see properly, like so. I have this rubber disc in between. In directly translated from Norwegian, we just call it a hardy disc, the rubber connection. And this is also to be the propeller shaft I'm going to use. Either this one in the cardboard box or the one underneath here, because the propeller shaft I have on my car, there's also a loose part in this part of the propeller shaft, which creates unbalance when driving and causes vibrations, and also make this what is it called in English, but since there's a loose metal piece inside, also makes this clacking noises when driving slowly on a parking lot, etc. Problem because apparently the previous owner had welded shut the planet gears inside the differential in the rear axle to lock the axle 100%, so the power from the motor were 100% distributed to the rear and both wheels, while a normal differential differentiate the power to the wheel that needs it. So and that probably have caused a lot of stress on it, and a metal piece in one of the ends have come loose, and it's impossible to take out without opening it up with an angle grinder or something and welding it shut again, which also creates unbalance, and it would need to be rebalanced. The gearbox I bought here is supposed to be in very good shape. The car was driven around 100,000 kilometers, which is not much to be an old 240. The seller couldn't guarantee it 100% though, since it sounds a bit too incredible to be an old car. The gearbox itself is a type M46, which is basically just the old 4-speed manual transmission with an added electronically activated overdrive. Here's the solenoid, which you activate when you press the button on the gear knob. And the connection here, which I talked about, is you're supposedly not to be able to put it in overdrive unless you have it in the 4th gear, but you can bypass it by unplugging it here and linking the wire directly to ground, which fools the mechanism, so you get a sort of 8-speed transmission. Of course, it isn't healthy at all for the overdrive unit, because it only is able to handle a certain amount of torque. There's a sticker under here which says it's an M46. Yeah, so it's basically just a 4-speed transmission fitted with an electronically activated overdrive. It were later made one called M47, which is a normal 5-speed transmission, and the best gearbox made by Volvo before they discontinued rear-wheel driven cars were the M90. And also, since this is an old 240 gearbox, there's also a hole here where it were output for the speedometer, because the 240 have a mechanical speedometer. I have an electronic one with a sensor in the differential in the rear axle, so it's not usable for me, so I took out the small gear and the output and it and stuff like that. I'm going to make a plug and just seal it off, because I have no need for it. There's also the plate. Don't know if you can see it, but it says Laycock Overdrive J-Type. Laycock is a company in Britain that produces overdrive modules for gearboxes. But here's the bell housing. I do have the arm for the thrust bearing, which sits on the axle here and connects the clutch to the engine. I've just removed it I'm just making the gearbox ready for the change, which I'm going to do hopefully next week or so, because I'm going to have my car on repair to fix the sunroof, which is broken, and I need a car drivable to get it fixed. So I'm going to change it after that. Here's also the new plastic for the front bumper, which I bought. And down there you can see my car. Thanks for watching.